when I look at you, I said, you have become a mere image of me. But hey, I feel your images too. And you wonder, why can't I be what I always see what's inside of me? Daydreaming all day long. And then you wonder, why can't we be what we all want to be? We want to be free. What makes me weak, not strong? So come along, imagine, yeah, imagine, yeah, imagine. Come on, imagine, your dreams for real. Talking about your good vibrations, talking about your imaginations. They tell you life is what you make it. Now who said we wasn't making it? Not I. And then you hear the lecture from the rich man. Now who said we was a rich man? Not I. I say we make it every day, spiritually, not just a night in your dream. Check it. A verbal and emotional gifts, yeah, man, and it rich, yeah. Not just the kind that are green. So come along. Imagine, yeah, imagine. You should imagine now. You should imagine your dreams for real. American dreams. Yeah, we're talking. You dream of faith, you dream of hope, you dream of some good loving, yeah. Y'all walking with us again. Check it. A one man's dream, another man's reality. Don't mean your life ain't real. And to think another man's life is only in your dreams is not what your soul has to feel. So come along, y'all. You come along, y'all. You come along, come along, y'all. You come along, you come along, you come along, you come along, you come along. Imagine, yeah, imagine. You should imagine. You should imagine your dreams for real. Hey, have you hugged your ganja bush today? Do you smoke your herb daily? This was going out to our meditators. Dr. Yo, I need the doctor. Yes, I need my diggity doctor herb. Yes, I need that doctor. Yes, I need my diggity doctor herb. Yo, where is that doctor? Yo, where's the diggity doctor herb? Yes, we need that doctor. Yes, we need that doctor herb. One joint a day. you're feeling in a positive way. One joint a day, yes, will keep a negative feeling away. Just one joint a day. I keep my conscious all day. One joint a day, but some I smoke up many more in the day. Yes, I smoke that herb, and it talks to me. Yeah, yeah, I smoke that herb. Yes, I have a doctor to my diggity diggity doctor herb. Yes, I need that doctor. Yes, I need my diggity diggity doctor herb. Yes, we need that doctor. Yes, I need that diggity diggity doctor. Yo, where is that doctor? Yo, where is that diggity diggity doctor herb? Yes, we need that doctor. Yes, we need that doctor herb. You see, I'm a meditator on the top of every hour. Yes, herb, I'm in a smoke, yeah, to find herb strength and power. And when this task is done, I cough on it over. And the notion in me now to walk about I-town and smoke that herb. Then you talk to me. Yes, yeah, you smoke that herb. Yes, it's time we talk to the doctor herb. The herb is a kind, but the herb is a bush. Herb is just a kind, but herb is just a bush. The herb is a kind, but the herb is a bush. Herb is just a kind.
All right, so happy 2020. What's the final word? Plenty, show me the money. What's up with the honey? I don't know what the term is, but welcome. Come check the sound here, Pittsburgh, North Carolina, Chatham County. Come get in where you fit in. Sitting here on 15501. We are back. I'm sitting here with my guys, Wheels of Steel. May the force be with you, John Delaforce, Circle City Recording. Got my man Luke walking in the sky, making it all look good. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good, man.
Good to see you.
Doing sweet.
Welcome back, 2020. We made it, man. We're here, gentlemen. And to my right, hey, man, great shirt, even better name. I got my man, brother Aaron Perrier, Oak City Hemp, right here in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. So we're back in 2020. And if you're in Chatham County, they're live streaming at the 580. They're live streaming at the other side, at the Modern Life. And we are here, and we're happy to be here. So yeah, guys. So this is 2020. We're here in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. And just like before, we're here to cover the music, the art, the fun, the focus on what makes living here. So we have a hyper-local reach that reaches to a national level and gives it a big hug and has a global universal appeal. Is that all right?
Love it.
All right, we can get in where we fit in, right?
We try to.
All right, so we said, I think when we last left everyone, we said, so from 2013 all the way to 2019, I could say every year, say what you mean in 2013, say what you mean in we're all the way at 2020, so we had a bunch of what should we say in 2020? Because it can't be the same thing it was in the teens. So after having many people email in and many people texting and Instagram and all of the information that came in, if I could wrap it up into one slogan, I think I know it is better vision in 2020.
Better vision?
Better vision in 2020. With everything that everyone said, I think that's the vibration that everyone is rocking with is, let's take a better vision in 2020. You hear what I'm saying? You think that worked?
I can dig. Yeah.
All right. So, what we like to do is talk about what's happening here local. So we just came out of a great time here in the 2019. And so now we're looking to see, well, what's happening in 2020 as we get going. Well, I'll tell you what is not happening here is snow this weekend because it's going to be 70 degrees. This is why we live in North Carolina. So how's 2020? Warm.
Yeah.
We can say that.
Yeah.
How is 2020 here on the music side? Well, we got local music at the Pittsburgh Roadhouse happening, and we know our man, Mr. Quick, is always there, Dave Quick, doing his style of music. And we have Chatham County's own on January 29th, Irrepressible, Liquid Pleasure coming to rock it. Now, I was at that last Liquid Pleasure show in 2019. They bring it, y'all. Have you been to a Liquid Pleasure show?
No, I had to check it out.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you something, man.
I don't get out much anymore.
Well, you know what? All right, so for everyone who doesn't get out much, get out on that night because...
What's the date again?
It's the 29th of January,
Okay.
Pittsburgh Roadhouse. If I'm wrong on the date,
Right.
but it is the 29th of January.
29th, yeah.
Liquid Pleasure, and they bring a great show to the town, and they make you dance. So that's something that
They love to dance in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
For sure.
And there's also an oyster event happening at the Postal Seafood because this is oyster now. You can do a good oyster run. Do you know how you tell the months that it's good to where you can eat the oyster? Anyone, raise your hand. See, what the people can't see, we have a huge studio audience here, but you just can't see that. There's just crowds of people here. That's right. So how do we tell whether or not when oyster? It's whether or not the month has an R. And this January, February time, is it? Don't.
It ends in an R.
Say no, not ends in. It has an R. Is it ends in an R?
March, you can't even, March,
There's an R. Yeah, you can do that
no, you're
too.
right.
All right, so we're gonna do a little. I was gonna say we can do a little contest here. You can win a $5 coupon off at your local Postal Seafood if you get this answer right. Dial into Circle City Recording here, and we'll work that out. But yes,
For that, man.
yeah, we got. I'm making them right now. So yes, our months you get the good oysters. All right, so we have that happening here at the Postal Fish Company. But man, you know what? Been wanting to have you on the show because I am a fan of the product, the store, the vibe, the sweatshirt. Tell me about, number one, who is Oak City Hemp? Who are you? And let our people know, what brought you to Pittsburgh, man?
And I appreciate you for having us. I'm Aaron, co-owner of Oak City Hemp. We have a retail location in Pittsburgh. We started as an educational retail brand. In the last year, 2019, we really had a focus push in being, as local as possible. We work with a lot of local, NC farmers. We do a lot of farming. We do a lot of consulting now. So but really the vision is about what most people in the hemp space, in the CBD space, it's just about, health and wellness and bringing that to our communities, to our friends, to our families. And really, and the number one piece to that is just education. It's just educating, the people that may not be aware that they can even benefit from it or their loved ones can benefit from it.
So let's start there. All right. So, we are a hyper-local source, but we have a universal outreach for someone watching us anywhere around the world and they have no idea what you mean hemp CBD. What is hemp CBD?
That's a great question. We get that a lot. I mean, hemp is legally defined as industrial hemp, anything under 0.3 or less delta 9 THC. And but hemp is cannabis. The main difference between marijuana or industrial hemp is the trace cannabinoid, which CBD is a cannabinoid, THC is a cannabinoid. The main difference is just the levels of THC, so of delta 9 THC. So hemp being high CBD traditionally, and marijuana obviously is high THC.
So we see the big push for THC legalization, but what has been the push specifically for CBD?
Hemp actually, the program actually was the focus was traditionally for industrial, think paper, fiber, industrial, building supplies, that sort of thing. But that market's really not there yet. So CBD is kind of was birthed out of the medicinal marijuana market with the genetics to be able to grow, high, flowering, high potency CBD strains to make oils out of, to make tinctures out of, to make finished good products out of, whether it be topicals, edibles, anything like that, but as well as smokables. So
you brought some products today. Tell us what you have. Yeah, let's check it out, man.
Yeah, so this is kind of the most popular product. This is our 250 milligram tincture. So this
to be
is
taken sublingual.
To be taken sublingual. Yeah. So basically, this is what most people think of when they hear CBD oil or hemp oil. So this is a full spectrum. Full spectrum meaning it's all other cannabinoids. It even has the trace amounts of THC. And what a lot of people don't understand is you need that THC even a little bit for it to make the CBD more active and more bioavailable.
So, and of course, we are not doctors. We don't give any medicinal advice on anything. So before you take anything, you should check, especially if you're taking any medication on a certain diet, you should always check with your doctor first. Correct. All right, so we agree on that. So that being said, we will put a time stamp on that.
For facts.
That being said, the component of using CBD and as far as the frequency of foot traffic you see coming to your shop, what is the demographic that you see, and what is the reason for what I would call a surprising demographic that maybe 20 years ago would have shunned, perhaps, allegedly, I gotta say all this word, perhaps, allegedly, shunned the concept of this. So tell us about who you're seeing coming, the folks who are coming taking part in this.
No, it's true. And traditionally people think of CBD or, any cannabis-derived product as being a younger, under 40 and under, demographic. But quite frankly, the older demographic, the 40 and up, specifically, senior citizen, retirement age, 60s, is a heavy, is a heavy market, for us. And obviously we're kind of isolated a little bit, in Chatham County. There's an older demographic here. So, there is that, but even in bigger markets, CBD in affluent areas, the older, 40 and up demographic, specifically, they tend to lean more towards like topicals and salves and CBD oils, but you'll be surprised, especially in the retirement communities, how many people are picking up, CBD smokable or vapes or that sort of thing. And a lot of that, and we had a conversation last night with a group, and the question come up was, well, what is the medicinal purpose, or what is the therapeutic benefit of smoking cannabis, specifically industrial hemp? And it's just instant onset, of if you need pain relief, if you need anxiety relief, if you need something instantaneous for whatever case may be, smoking is the fastest way to ingest anything.
And I like the fact that you make that a point also with folks who say, well, I don't want to smoke. I have some close family members who have learned to use some of the topical salves and these, and they have found that instead of taking pills that can have their own effects to them, some topical rubs or what have you have been quite nice. And I can say, as one who has used the medicine of CBD, aches and pains tend to go away. I like to get my exercise on and whatnot. Sometimes inflammation and pains can keep you from being as consistent as you would like. But I will say that CBD makes it a lot easier to get up the next day and be consistent with that, for its anti-inflammation and pain properties that I've seen personally.
Right, and to piggyback off of that, a lot of people aren't aware that we as humans have, or really as mammals, have an endocannabinoid system, right? So basically, we have receptors that whether it's CBD or THC that binds to, and that's how we absorb it through our body, and it does what it does. Well, you think I explain it kind of like think of it as a deficiency, as like a nutrient deficiency. We've went essentially with cannabis prohibition for the last 100 years, really at the worldwide scale as being endocannabinoid deficient, right? So now, and so a lot of these issues, most issues are caused at a molecular level, there's an imbalance, and so your body wants to be at homeostasis. So what CBD does and cannabinoids do,
that's one of my terms,
balances.
Homeostasis.
Yeah, homeostasis is like homeostasis is really what we're trying to achieve, and that's why. That's my understanding, at least, is why some of these cannabinoids are so effective in a lot of cases so quickly, because you're able to achieve that balance pretty quickly, and that's where it targets pain, inflammation, that sort of thing.
And even and because we do have all these worldwide viewers, I'm sure there are a lot of soil people out there, so correct me if I'm wrong. You can hit me up on TajTalk.com, you hit me up on the YouTube or Facebook. Let me know if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But even on the level of soil, is it not accurate that the plant in and of itself on an industrial agricultural level remediates some of the toxic crap that's in the soil?
Yes, cannabis hemp is a they call it a accumulator. It hyperaccumulates heavy metals, pesticides, pretty much anything in the soil that accumulates. And there's been research done, around nuclear waste plants. Chernobyl's a big one, where that they use cannabis, hemp and marijuana varieties to remediate soils. So the problem is that it's specifically on the flower side, it holds those, it stores them in the plant. So you don't really want to make medicine out of that.
No, you want to find a...
Well, here's the kicker. Penn State did a study. I recently read this. Now, this is like a first preliminary study, so we gotta do more digging into it. But they're finding in a variety that they planted near a coal mine in Pennsylvania, or an old coal mine, that it extracted the heavy metals, but it didn't store them in the flowers. It stored them in the stalks and the leaves. So when they tested, the flowers, now I'm not saying I would want to smoke that flower, don't get me wrong, but it's just, so there might even be a potential, where the flower can still be used for certain, oils and things of that nature, and still, have a remediation as well.
Well, what I think is great is that we are utilizing a plant that has many different forms, formulas, and uses for us, whether it is the smokable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like all the sour space candy. What makes a sour space candy? That's a great name.
Yeah.
What makes a sour space candy? You mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can feel free.
This for entertainment purposes only. So what makes a sour space candy a sour space candy? So
sour space candy, and again, just like in the medicinal marijuana space, there are strains, and so now we're heavy into hemp breeding, and a lot, and again, how they created these smokable strains, they took marijuana, medicinal marijuana, and bred out the THC, and ran up the CBD. So that's why a lot of them look and smell like familiar medicinal strains.
Well, I'm holding this in my hand, and not that I would know, but I'm gonna say allegedly, it's like weed.
Yeah.
Okay. No man, this is.
Yeah, and sour space candy is one of our more popular strains. It has a little more pop to it. It has more of a piney,
So what are you looking for in someone saying, well, how do I know what is and I hear this term and see this on site, full spectrum, and what percentage of the CBD and what it's good for? Like, how do people begin to break all that down?
Right. Well, the plant in nature, should be full spectrum, right? Full spectrum meaning it has all. It's over. I think at last count, they just discovered 2 new cannabinoids the other day. I'm drawing a blank. I think it was THCP. I think it was, but and CBDP or CBP or something. Anyway, not important. But so there's over 100, cannabinoids, and as well as you have terpenes, and terpenes is what plants smell like plants. What there's terpene specific. There's about, I think it's 2,000 or 200 that are specific to cannabis. There and other plants as well, but there are about 200 that are found in cannabis.
Well, I know that here in North Carolina we're going through some conversations as to some things that's going to happen here over the next few months. We're looking at it for being all positive, but I certainly do support all of our local businesses and all of our local organic, no foreign input farmers, and of course we are glad to have Oak City Hemp here. You're on your way to the World Expo down in my area, ATL.
Yeah,
Come
we're
serve
going to
them
Atlanta
well.
next week. Next week we'll be there, World Hemp Expo. Atlanta, North Atlanta Expo, Atlanta North Expo.
Yeah, I think it'll be down
Atlanta
Jonesboro,
Expo North,
y'all.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of people in Atlanta. I hope to see y'all down there. We'll see what happens, folks. So yeah, Aaron, that's a great name, man.
I agree.
Thanks for coming here and checking the sound here, man. Yeah, we're gonna hit some music, and because we're gonna keep it live and local, we got a local musician coming up. Our brother John Westmoreland, he's gonna play some music. So if you want to stick around,
sure.
And yeah, we check some of that out. I don't know. We look at it. But yeah, we're gonna play a little music. Come right back. Next sounds you hear are gonna be our man John Westmoreland kicking it here on Check the Sound. We'll be right back. You hear? We're back. So, you see how smoothly that went, and next thing you know, you're sitting right here. What's up, man?
Totally smoothly, man.
So let me do this the right way, because we've been playing your music. So ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome to Check the Sound in Circle City Recording, local musician with, like our show, local musician, hyperlocal musician with national and global appeal. Won't you welcome to Check the Sound here at Circle City, Brother John Westmoreland. What's up, man?
It's very good to be here. Thank you, Aaron.
Hey, man, thank you for being here. And man, I don't know where to start. We were talking before you came on, but let's just start here. You're from here.
I'm from Pittsburgh, born and raised.
So tell me about that.
Well, let's see here. My parents had met down in South Carolina in Columbia, which my parents.
Of course,
that's how we met.
That's right. You're exactly right.
So they met at the University of South Carolina in college, and got married, and then moved up here for my dad to go to grad school at UNC. And after he went through grad school, they just had kind of gotten planted in this area. So so that would have been, I think they moved up here in the late 70s, I guess 76, 77, something like that. And so that's where they were living. So I was born here and grew up for a lot of my life just down Hamlet's Chapel Road, not too far from here at all, and went to school and, all the Chatham County schools, the standards.
I think when I moved here, you were like off somewhere playing. Like I'd heard about you, then I ran to your parents, and when they said who they were, and they said, we have a son, he plays music, and I was at their house, and they said, but he's off playing. I said, you're that guy I keep hearing about? You're his parents? So I don't know where you were, but you were somewhere that you were off playing, but you were already a legend as far as someone that I had been hearing about. So being from Chatham County, you have this musical style that I have learned to quickly be a fan of, that is very much, I don't know if Chatham County has its own sound, but it's also very much well-traveled sound. What's your music stylings and the basis of that?
Well, I feel like I was fortunate to hear a lot of music when I was growing up. Both my parents were really quite musical. My sister got really into music when she was younger and was playing classical flute a lot, and then later Celtic flute. And my father played, he was playing a lot of classical guitar when I was young, and then started playing more old-time music, bluegrass, Celtic music, and so he plays fiddle and mandolin and guitar. So I just grew up, there was a lot of music that was either being played live or hearing on recordings. So I think that, from an early age, I just was affected by that. And my father's family were all classical musicians and church musicians. So my grandparents had both gone to Juilliard. So there was a lot of classical music. I heard some too.
And when you
but
say
I wasn't
church,
really a classical musician.
and when you say church,
yeah,
are we talking let me use
Southern
the right term.
Baptist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Southern Baptist.
Like jumping and shouting?
Jumping and shouting. Well, I don't know. Classical Juilliard Southern Baptist. So, yeah.
We only do the pentatonic. No, so what was that influence like, coming from that, and I guess the Southern Baptist of what that vibe was like,
Well, it's, like I said, because I didn't grow up, that was my dad's childhood, was growing up in the Southern Baptist Church in Columbia, which I think he had a lot of, he had all sorts of experiences with that. But for myself, I was really, I feel like as I grew older especially, really appreciated the music when I would go down there and hear music at go down for Christmas and go to the services with my grandparents and such. Also, just my grandfather had started this the Singing Churchmen is the name of the group, and it's still around. And he died. My grandfather, Tom Westmoreland, he died in 2016, and at his funeral they had a big chunk of the members of this Singing Churchmen group that he founded came and sang, and that was just beautiful hearing. I love old church music, really. I mean, it is. There's something to be said for, church and music. I mean, spiritual practices and music, they seem to go together.
And so, we're going to have you play some music for us. So, feel free to grab your guitar and,
Okay.
yeah, what is based upon that? Give us something that you feel
Okay.
is
All right.
from that aspect of your musical profile, all right?
Sounds good.
Get that set and I make these active.
Sounds very warm in here, man. Nice sound on that guitar, though.
Thank you. Well, maybe since we were just talking about that kind of influence, I'll play. This is a song that I wrote the morning of my grandfather's funeral, actually, back in 2016. So it's dedicated to him and really just all the ancestors. I was kind of just writing it as this sense of, I feel like it's important that we that all of us human beings feel connected to something positive, and I think that we all do come from, there's some sense of like a fire or a flame that we're trying to tend. So that's where this song, the impetus for it came from. You told me once by the fire's light, take care, my son, keep this flame alive. Then you were gone without a trace, save for this song, thy holy name. And I loved you like a river loves the sea, so shall it be until the day my broken heart shall be released. Our fortunes fell beneath the tree, I know it well, you're suffering. I've seen the truth, I have no doubt. I touched your wound, knelt before your crown. And I love you like a river loves the sea, so shall it be until the day my broken heart shall be released. I hear the bells that you still ring, I know the hymn your daughters sing. Thy will be done by the fire's light to make us one when the sun shall rise. And I love you like a mountain loves the sky. I shall abide until the day my soul must leave this world behind. Until the day my soul must leave this world behind. Until the day my soul must leave this world behind. Do another one? All right. Well, maybe I'll do, because the next project I'm working on, as we talked about earlier, I had an album come out.
Cast Fire.
Yes, in April of 2019. Thank you guys for playing some of the songs. That song is on Cast Fire.
Yeah, it's a great album, man.
But right as I was finishing that record up, I happened to make this discovery on my mom's side of the family. I was doing some research and just trying to learn about her family, because I really didn't know much. Her father, my maternal grandfather, he had died when I was about a year and a half old, and so I never spoke to him. But he was of Finnish descent, and I always found that to be interesting. You know, I was just curious about that side of my family. And so right as I was finishing up recording Cast Fire, I happened to stumble upon, by doing some family research, that this great-granduncle that I'd heard of, I'd heard of him as Uncle Matt, and my mom had actually done a lithograph, a really beautiful lithograph of him when she was in art school back in the 70s, but she didn't know anything other than that he was Uncle Matt. She just thought it was a cool picture that she was using. But as it turned out, this Uncle Matt he was more well known as this legendary hobo songwriter and poet and labor activist named T-Bone Slim.
Yeah, I checked him out. I was like, T-Bone Slim.
T-Bone Slim, yeah. So I was pretty floored when I stumbled across this, and that was a bit over 2 years ago. What was the time
frame of the T-Bone Slim, just so we can...
When he was...
Yeah.
Well, he was born Valentine's Day, 1882, and he died... He was found drowned in the East River of Manhattan in May 15th, 1942. And he was believed to have been in the water for a few days, so he probably died somewhere.
And as we said in the
before
green room before we came on, he had a Robert Johnson type epiphany, so to speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a mysterious person for sure. Like I've heard somebody refer to him before as as like a Finnish Robert Johnson, in this sense of there being a mystique around him. I mean, certainly that's what I found. I mean, I was immediately, when I realized that this T-Bone Slim existed and that he was a relative, I knew that nobody in my family had any idea about it, and I was shocked by that. But I also knew it was true because somebody would have told me.
So was he like the beat poet of the music of his time?
Yeah, you could say he was a beat poet kind of person. He was he had a Mark Twain kind of style. He was very sarcastic, darkly comic. I mean, one thing he said, there's these T-Bone Slimisms. One of his most famous sayings was, wherever you find injustice, the proper form of politeness is attack. Another one is, alcoholism, rheumatism, and capitalism all have small beginnings and terrible endings. So he'd have these one-liners, but he wrote a lot of poems, songs that are used to... I mean, he was in the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World, the Wobblies. So he was their most prolific and noted writer, really during that first half of the 20th century, and probably for all of the IWW's history. I don't think there was a writer that they had that was as prolific as him.
And we're here at the first half of the 21st century.
Actually, this is 100 years exactly since T-Bone Slim was first published. And I'm very grateful, with the help of a North Carolina Arts Council songwriting fellowship, to be able to put out an album. It's going to be coming down the line, so I'll keep you posted about it.
Well, and we're here at Circle City Recording, so let us know what we can do here. So
All right.
So is this is an homage?
This is a original song of T-Bone Slim's that I've written the music to it. I don't know how. I just had the words for this. This is a song called Harvest Land, and there's the manuscript of it exists in the Newberry Library in Chicago, in their Rosemont T-Bone Slim collection.
So this is a T-Bone Slim lyrics and the music is written by John Westmoreland.
Exactly.
Ladies
That's
and
right.
gentlemen, here we
So
go.
we'll see.
Thank you, man.
This is the first time I've played this one out, so we'll see how it
Well,
goes.
thank you, man. World release right here, y'all. Check the sound.
The harvest drive is on again. John Farmer needs a lot of men to work beneath that Kansas heat and shock and stack and thresh his wheat. Farmer John, poor Farmer John, our faith in you is overdrawn. Old fossil of the feudal age, your only creed is going wage. Bull Durham will not buy our brawn. You're out of luck, Farmer John. You advertise in Omaha. Oh, come now, leave the valley of the car. Nebraska calls, don't be misled. We'll furnish you a feather bed. In South Dakota, that's a roar. We need 10,000 men, maybe more. Our grain is turning and prices drop. For God's sake, save our bumper crop. In North Dakota, well, I'll be darned. A wise guy sleeps in Hoosier's barn, and Hoosier breaks into his snore and yells it's 4:15. Oh, Farmer John, poor Farmer John, our faith in you is overdrawn. Oh, harvest land, sweet burning sand, is on the sun-kissed field. There I stand. I look away across the plain and wonder if it's going to rain. And I vow by all the brands of Cain, I will not be here again. Yes, I vow by all the brands of Cain, I will not be here again.
Said lyric, and I vow
By all the brands of Cain,
all the brands of Cain,
I will not be here again.
I will not be here again. Very nice, man. That's nice. That's nice. You know, I always talk to people because, you know, when a song comes to you, man, yeah, that's a nice song, man. When a song comes to you, and I listen to other people, I'm like, when did that? Like, what was the motion? I'm usually emotional. Yeah. What was going on to bring them lyrics about, man?
Well, I mean, so that one's T-Bone Slim.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
That's,
I I think that he's clearly he's writing during the Great Depression.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is during
yeah.
the Dust Bowl. So, clearly these lyrics in here wonder if it's going to rain.
Woo.
I mean,
Yeah, that was
essentially like
intense, man.
the climate change that was going on then, across this country was really intense. The dust and, the lack of rain, I think that was really compounding other economic factors that were really,
And
really hard.
I like the timbre of the voice that you choose to deliver it in, as well as it's almost a dry, sardonic, less emotional, letting the words evoke emotion. And because I think that that's something that during that time people almost had to become numb, and you sang it with a certain numbness that of that time that would be like, because it was I was like, ooh, it was deep.
Well, I definitely do try and with the words, like with the CD, the T-Bone Slim album that I'm about to start working on in the studio. I've been feeling like I want to be cautious to not get in the way of the words, because really that's the important thing is his words.
You got that, man. And so the other night when I was preparing for this, I was going through checking out all the background and music, and I came across a lot of the Caraba stuff.
Caraba. Today's Jelly's birthday, actually. Jelly Cisoho's birthday. Another
man,
Pittsburgh.
Big him up, brother Jelly. Happy Earth Day, born day.
Yeah, you should get him on here.
That's all right. You
him.
just heard that. Hey, the invitation's right here. So tell the people about Caraba and your work with those guys, man.
Well, Caraba is a group started by Jelly Cisoho, who's a griot kora player, musician from Mbour, Senegal, in West Africa. And he moved over here, I guess, it's been about over a decade, I think, since he moved from West Africa to the States. And there's a romance story. He had met his wife, who is from Pittsburgh. She came over to Senegal as part of a program she was doing for music therapy, as part of App State's, being in school at App State for music therapy. And so they met there. He was teaching kora and fell in love, and one thing led to another, and they ended up
funny how that happened, ain't it?
Well, yeah, they do, apparently. And so I met Jelly through just local friends and community connections, because I was, I grew up around here, played guitar. Sure. Folks knew me, and
I was listening to that, and that a lot of energy, a lot of rhythm. Yeah. A lot of jam to it, and so you're a big part of the music scene here. What else you got for us, man? Let's keep the music.
You want to have another one going?
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
Let me think here. All right, maybe I'll do another original of mine.
Please,
here.
Yeah, do the original music.
All right.
ASCAP BMI won't come after us if you do original music. We do not own the rights to this music, allegedly. Don't you have to say something like that?
I don't know what you have to say.
I don't know what you have to say
something
either,
you
man.
probably have to say.
So go see the recording. We're here. ToshTalk.com. We're here. Keeping it odd up in here. Brother Luke is here. Brother John Westmoreland. What's the name of the tune, brother?
That's a good question. What is the name of this tune? This one I haven't recorded yet. And,
so another one? We can name it right here.
It might be named here. Who knows?
All right,
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, bring it on, man. We'll give you a name for it.
It was a night that should be remembered, an occasion for the books, and everyone who was anyone was coming round just to have a look at the ring upon your finger and your gown of crimson silk. Was the way that you could capture any heart you were after, and you were always dressed to kill. Oh, so it was, I know. Oh, it was, so it was, so it was, yes I know. Oh, it was. It was the story of an ancient man and woman, just the God's honest, naked truth, that on a cool, misty evening in the garden, darling, you know that's where I fell for you. So it was, so it was, I know. Oh, it was, yes, so it was, so it was, yes, I know. Oh, it was. But it was a man that murdered his brother, a father ready to kill the son. But some say that a woman took a bite from an apple, and that's where all the trouble really begun. Well, they said it was. Oh, I know. Oh, they said it was. Yes, they said it was. But I've seen how it all got started, from the pain of a broken heart. It was living in the valley of the shadow you left. It was your love that led me into the dark. I know it was. Oh, it was, yes I know. Oh, it was, so it was, so it was, yes I know. Oh, I know it was.
Keep amping that real softly. That
Just
nice
think of
little-
it.
Yeah. Keep amping. Keep amping that nice little rhythm you were playing. That's our friend John Westmoreland, folks.
I say I need one more, man.
You need one more?
One more.
Yeah.
All right, I can do one more. Let me see what I got here.
Sounds like butter, man. That's nice.
Sounds like some butter. Thanks.
We're gonna have you have to come back and give a class on why those nylon strings sound so, how you make them sound so good, man. Good Lord. I'm sitting here watching. I have the best seat in the house outside of everyone else on the internet listening, but I'm right here, and man, it sounds really, really, really great, man.
Thank you, Aaron.
Really
Thanks
great.
for having me on,
man,
man.
it's a pleasure to get to sit here and listen. So when we're done the live stream, y'all, we're gonna jam.
That's right.
Y'all don't get to see that part there, y'all. No, I'm kidding. So, website to check out your music. How can we check that out, man?
You can go to westmorelandmusic.com.
Westmorelandmusic.com. Y'all know how to
More land. Just the three words put
just
together.
Easy, y'all. Y'all know that. Westmorelandmusic.com. Okay, and what social media can people check you out on?
Westmoreland_music is
Y'all
my
know
Instagram.
underscore.
Westmoreland_music.
Y'all got that. Y'all got
And
that.
on Facebook, Westmoreland-band.
All right, and I'm going to try and tag all these videos
Thank
with
you.
that here, y'all, so
Appreciate
you
it.
know that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, John Westmoreland.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So this is another T-Bone Slim song that I'm going to leave you all with tonight. And this one's called Resurrection. I found this again in the Newberry Library, just a handwritten manuscript. And I'm kind of trying to facilitate some resurrection of T-Bone Slim. So you know, it feels like a fitting one.
2020, come get in where you fit.
All right, we'll come. We'll come back. Man that once drank at a bar, hard by a churchyard grave,
When evening shadows fell bizarre, he staggered on his way. Right through the graveyard's ghostly air, his soul moved on in waves. Among the dim gray headstones there, he weaved among the graves. Grave diggers, they had sunk a hole for those who can't behave. And when our hero onward stole, he stepped into the grave. And there he slept in peace profound till after break of day. And crumbling sand there did abound upon his mortal clay. In stark surprise he rubbed his eyes and said in mournful tone, "Don't other corpses deign to rise, but mine alone, alone." Well, the barkeep thought it was a joke, straight from the churchyard bed. He failed to understand the soak was risen from the dead.
John Westmoreland, Luke keeping us walking in the sky, nice and tall. May the force be with you, John Della Force. Peace, love, power, every minute, every hour. I'm Hall out of time. We see you when we see you. Peace to you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
See y'all later.
Yeah, man.